The stage is set for Major League Lacrosse from beautiful Annapolis, Maryland. Matt Danowski and his playoff-bound Charlotte Hounds have a late summer score to settle with Drew Westervelt and the champion Chesapeake Bayhawks, who fight to the regular season finish. Straight ahead next. Ready to close the season in style, tonight the Hounds will run free inside Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium for one final tune-up against the Bayhawks as both teams prepare for the playoff party in Major League Lacrosse. Give a glance to these standings. The top 4 teams have all clinched a playoff spot. Denver capped off a perfect regular season today. So when you do the math, the winner of our game tonight plays Hamilton in the semis. The loser will have to get through the Outlaws. It is so nice to see you again. Along with Quint Kesnick, I'm Joe Beninati. This game does carry a special meaning. So moving forward, Quint, a win tonight, how does it affect the mindset?
Well, confidence and momentum. I really see tonight's winner advancing to play in the Major League Lacrosse Championship game on August 25th. I think this game really sets them up to win their semifinal.
Every coach will tell you it's great when their best players are playing their best in the big games. In the Warrior spotlight, you'd have to go long and far to find 2 men more valuable than these.
Yeah, a pair of Matts. Let's start with Matt Danowski of the second-year Charlotte Hounds. Danowski, all-pro season. He's always been a great player, but this year he's turned it up a notch. His shot selection, and he's cut down on turnovers. His leadership abilities, tremendous. Meanwhile, for Chesapeake, Matt Abbott last week was a sensation. He was the man of the match. He can do it all. He can defend. He can get ground balls. He's excellent in the clearing game and off of restarts. And I think pound for pound, you could argue that his skill set, you could argue he's the best lacrosse player overall on the planet.
So much more offensive this season. The first meeting between the Hounds and Bayhawks was an overtime thriller. Let's see what they can do for an encore when Major League Lacrosse continues next. He'll turn 23 next month. Delente on this draw for Chesapeake with Tim Fallon. And it's Mason Poley who comes out of there, but his stick check quickly. Rubior vacuums it off the carpet. 5-1 in the early going for Chesapeake. We're more than halfway through the opening quarter from Annapolis. Stephen Brooks back in business for Chesapeake. Was a scratch a week ago. No Ben Hunt tonight. No Casey Powell as well for head coach Dave Cottle. Scratch the youngster Kevin Cooper. Brooks feeds for Westervelt. They force it inside. Grant Jr. behind the back.
I can't miss right now, Joe. Brooks with a little explosive left-to-left move, creates some separation and draws the slide. Kick the ball to the wing and then inside. There's the kick. Grant will curl left-handed and flip this one behind his back. Bayhawks now shooting 6 of 7 in this ballgame.
Grant Jr. so deceptive throughout his Major League Lacrosse career, now 10 seasons worth. He came into tonight's action as Chesapeake's 4th leading goal scorer. That's just standard operating procedure for John Grant Jr., those dazzling goals behind the back. Hawkins works in, bounce shot, score! On the run, Josh Hawkins.
Award. The All-A Classic continues with the boys' action. Cordia taking on Newport Central Catholic. Hi, I'm Jim Tyree. Along with Glenn Waldrop, we bring you the action of this contest. We'll start from the 14th region, Glenn, where Cordia comes into this game. And as Jim McKay used to say, they've spanned the globe. They've brought them from all 4 corners, players from all over the world, playing for Roderick Rhodes, the former UK player and USC player, has brought a team in here that's very formidable, and they have a floor general that brings it all together in the melting pot.
Yeah, Cunningham is a great guard. He really gets it done. He can push the basketball. Cordia wants to play fast. They want to be aggressive, but they need someone to sometime pull the reins back a little bit, bring some cohesiveness to their offense. offense. Christian Cunningham's that guy. Very important for him to control the pace, which can be frantic with this team out of Cordia. They want to run and gun, but they have to know when to take their shots, and Cunningham's the guy that can really make that happen for the Lions of Cordia.
They have weapons from all over the floor, three-point line, inside, they can go anywhere. But the same can be said from the 9th region about Newport Central Catholic. And there's something to be said about a small school and players playing together in all kinds of sports and for a lot of years, and that's what Newport Central Catholic has.
Football, baseball, basketball, four-year guys, they come out and they do the little things. It's fundamentals. It's playing together, playing as a team, taking advantage of what I do well to make you play better. And that's what Newport Central Catholic does. Zach Pangallo is the guy to make that happen. He's the glue. He can handle the ball. He can shoot the ball. This is a very good basketball team. Contrasting styles, Newport Central Catholic wants to play slow, deliberate, fundamental basketball. Cordia wants to trap you and get after you and run. It's going to be an exciting game, and whoever gets the best job running their offense and their defense is going to get a trophy at the end of this one.
And Pangallo has had a huge tournament shooting the three. We'll see if it continues next. Will handle the point for this offensive set. Cunningham loves to penetrate off the wing. Did this time, kept his pivot foot.
Watch what he does so well is keep his dribble, Jim. Cunningham gets into traffic. He's in there. He still doesn't pick that ball up. He dribbles in and out of traffic. He is really, really good with his handles.
Crowd wanted a walk and a nice elbow shot there by Combs. He'll sink it and get his team within one.
And Cordia there runs their offensive set beautifully. We talk about they want to play up tempo, but that was a great half-court set that led to the elbow jumper.
And a foul called. That'll lead us to our media timeout. They're going to get Tagaloa with a push up top on Ben Wire. Wire at 6'4", very, very tall, but he will play on the outside a lot of times for the Thoroughbreds. That's a 1-point lead early on for Newcath. Get settled into your favorite chair, as this one is going to be a good one, playing for a state championship here in Kentucky.
Off the leg.
And that's about the third time we've seen a Cordia player get hit with the basketball by the smart play of someone on Newcast's team.
But I just feel like Cordia right now is a team reeling because they haven't been on the stage, Jim. You know, they play a pretty good schedule over there in the 14th region, but to come up here to play for a state championship, you've got guys coming in from all over the world, as you said, and it's just really hard to get this type of style replicated in practice and in a game situation.
Jump ball underneath after McDonald was blocked, and I think that was Lucian that was underneath and able to get a hand on that basketball. We've got the big 8th grader, the 7-footer, Omar Kita, back into the game. So Cunningham, Lucian, Kita, Tagaloa, and also Chisholm. That's who's on the floor for Rod Rhodes' Cordia team. Kita loses it after Cunningham tried to get him the ball, but he got it back.
Good hustle there from the 8th grader. He doesn't play like a 7-footer that's 14 years old. I mean, he's got some athleticism. He is very confident in how he runs the floor. He could be a special guy here in can you believe that, in 4 more years?
4 more years, exactly. Not even a high schooler yet. Cunningham setting the offense, a reset. 7 seconds left in the half. This is Lucian from the top of the key, knocked it down. Maybe some momentum as you go into the locker room at halftime. Big shot by Fritz Lucian. 6'9" senior knocks it down and puts the Lions of Cordia just a little bit closer. It has been fast. It has been furious. It is a championship that's on the line. Newport Central Catholic has been almost flawless in a first half. They lead by 13. Back for the second half very shortly here on Fox Sports. All-tournament team for 2014, but unbelievable, fundamental, disciplined, just sound performance all the way around. Second championship in a row for Rondon and his Thoroughbreds.
5 guys in double figures for Newport Central Catholic. The other guy picks up 8 points, and Grant Mavis. Oh, by the way, really only 6 guys played, and you get 5 in double figures and 1 with 8. That's what teams do. They know what they do well. They execute. Congratulations to Newport Central Catholic. They are the best team right now in the tournament. They deserve to get the trophy.
These young men have been playing together for such a long time, so used to each other. They play football, baseball, basketball. One of the things you see at the small school level is the fact that they play every sport across the board. And they have really come together as a team over the last couple of years, as evidenced by 2 national champions, or pardon me, 2 state championships in the Touchstone Energy All-A Classic. 11 points, the final margin, as the Thoroughbreds do win this game. Concordia nothing to hold their heads about or drop their heads about, as they performed admirably. The closest competition that Newport Central Catholic had throughout the tournament, but it has been settled. Thank you for joining us today. A great job by the crew. Glenn, thank you for your hard work. My name is Jim Tyree. You see the final score. Thanks for watching another edition of the Touchstone Energy All-A Classic. Newport Central Catholic takes the hardware home today.
Welcome to the 2014 Men's Championship game for the Golden State Athletic Conference men's basketball season. So glad you can join us inside the pit here on Fox Sports. Alan Hopkins alongside Josh Perigo. Both of these teams not expected to be here tonight, but yet here they are. And we begin with a very good Hope International team. Good ball movement early. Hope has not really gone on the bench yet. Quick little dribble drive. The step back by Chris Gorman is good. Man guard up 2. Kneeling. Green has certainly been the catalyst early here, Josh. Looking for his shot. That one's strong. Here comes Gorman looking to push. Pull up 3, good! Oh, the pit is rocking, and Coach Check doesn't want any part of it early. One of the tightest and smallest gyms on the West Coast. Just a 20 timeout, as just like that, the home team up 5. And you see there the GSAC Conference Coach of the Year in Rhett Soliday. We enjoyed our conversation with him this week, and he's a GSAC alum playing at Concordia, so he knows what this conference is all about.
And he knows, oddly enough, how tough it is to play in here, because he did it while he was at Concordia.
Backdoor lob! Oh, another good play out of the timeout. Reagan Anderson, the senior from Wisconsin. Coach Check, he's drawing up the plays. Answer the other way denied. Here comes Hope International. Athletic play, and it will stay down here toward our right. 2 alley-oop lobs.
And Alan, we talk so much. When we talk with Coach Check as we watch the replay backdoor, it's just twice they've run that backdoor play. Once from the top of the key, that time from the wing. He talked about the different type of flex options we would see, the Carolina Fox type offense we would see. And right here, we're seeing him run a lot of screen and roll.
Another lob, and the layup is good. And back and forth we go. Rhett Soliday getting the troops together in his 4th season, the GSAC Conference Coach of the Year. And Josh, we certainly enjoyed our time with him as well over the weekend.
Yeah, you know, he won Coach of the Year this year in the league. He played at Concordia, so he knows what it's like to come to the pit and play as an opponent. And he coached under Ken Amon at Concordia as well, a team that won the league last year and went on to the NAIA tournament.
Welcome back to Williamsburg, Kentucky, as Kentucky's threatening to get more points on the board. But before we get back to the action here, let's go down to the 7-year NFL veteran, Scott Gallion. He's got a guest he's talking to. Scott?
Hey guys, we're down here with Gary Wyatt with GW Wyatt Contracting out of Jefferson City, Tennessee. Gary, can you tell the folks how you got involved with the game this year?
Yeah, so Andy Crowley invited us this year to be a sponsor for the jerseys, and it was with great pleasure and honor that we took the opportunity to be able to do that, and we're proud to be able to do that for these young men and for them to have the opportunity to come out here and just show their character and to show their witness to each other and just to be a part of a game that hopefully will glorify God.
Hey, we thank you so much for being a part of this game this year and being a sponsor. The uniforms look great, and guys, we're going to pass it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Scott, and a good message from one of our sponsors there. And Scott, the 7-year NFL veteran, we can still hear him down there laughing and talking. But hey, that's what it's all about, having fun out here, and neat for him to get out there and do that.
He's excited about his interview.
Yeah, he is. 2 wideouts each way. Kentucky now, quarterback takes his snap for Kentucky, runs towards the sideline, but he's going to be chased down and dropped for a loss on a 4th and 1, turnover on downs, Tennessee ball, Wally.
Hey, that was a play where, hey, it was a hard throw to make. Running to your throwing arm side, right, and trying to stop and throw the ball back. A receiver came over for Kentucky right there. Cole Wilson was open in end zone number 27, but just couldn't stop and make that throw. So 4th down, ball goes back to Tennessee.
Underwood makes a few more plays like that. He'll certainly be looked at strongly with college teams. He's made a couple of plays today. And, you know, sometimes you take the points and get the 3, and sometimes you go for it on 4th down and it works, and sometimes it doesn't. I thought it was the right call by the Kentucky coach.
There's quarterback change here as Christian Jeton is the quarterback now, as he throws a little flare pass out to his back, nothing doing. It was a forward pass, so no fumble there. And it's a 2nd and 10.
Not by much.
Not
That's
by
a little
much.
bit, little bit uncomfortable there for the coaches on the sideline, I'm sure.
Now, Coach, if they get their hands on it, if they get 1 hand on it, shouldn't you get 2 and pull that in?
No, absolutely. I mean, that was a catchable ball. It wasn't a great throw. It was a catchable ball. And I think he may have been peeking at those guys in blue coming at him.
You know, Coach, I never thought that football was really that hard, but if I got some kids on there 6'9" and 6'8" on my offensive line, I think I would try to run it down Kentucky's throat.
There's a pump fake and a long, deep pass, and just a hair underthrown is a miscommunication between the receiver and the quarterback, and Tennessee fails on a 2nd and 10 to get any yards back at their own 11-yard line still. It'll bring up 3rd and 10, and tough situation to be in, Coach. There's not a lot of play calls on your own 11 with 3rd and 10.
You know, 3rd and 10 backed up, you want to start thinking, how far can I get it out on draw or a screen? You know, you're just not going to turn the ball over, particularly as Wally pointed out, the field is getting muddy, you know, the ball is wet. Not a good place. Maybe in an all-star game you take a shot. They've been open deep twice. I bet they may do it again. Here's a screen pass. Well executed and just dropped by number 32. Who's our friend there?
I'll tell you what,
Mr. Rodney Clark.
Yeah, that ball may be a little muddy, tough to handle down there for these guys. Good job, though, by those big hogs coming out of there. Matt Pike out of Anderson County and Patrick Dalton out of Christian Academy of Knoxville were the pulling linemen that time, got out there, and they made their block, so there was something there.
And these are some big young men here. We're not talking about kids 5'10" or 5'11".
No, sir.
Okay, these kids are 6'8", 300-plus pounds with athletic ability. So to get out there in that screen, it didn't materialize like they wanted to, but to be out there and have it ready, they have some skills.
Watch 85, David Bevere for Kentucky, if he's able to return the ball here. And it's a kick. It goes off the side of his foot. That was Jackson Campbell. And nothing doing there for no return. We're going to take a quick break and bring you right back here to Williamsburg, Kentucky for more of the 7th Annual National Guard Border Bowl on Fox College Sports. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Williamsburg, Kentucky. Kentucky leads here 3-0, and Coach Fulmer and Wally Williams here with me. Steve Tressler on the broadcast. Thanks for joining us, Fox College Sports, for the National Guard Border Bowl 2014, the high school all-star game between the Kentucky All-Stars and the Tennessee All-Stars. And a lot of these guys looking for college scholarships on this field today, Wally.
Exactly. And, I was talking in the break here, like me being an offensive lineman, I want to showcase my talent here. And I had no problem turning around and telling the coach or the quarterback, whoever, hey, let's run the ball here, man. We're inside the 10. This is dirty, nasty football area right here. Let's get nasty in this mud. Let's get my jersey all messed up. I don't like field turf, okay? Let's play on this and get it done so I can show this work on my uniform. So I want to see these guys run the ball here, really on both sides, but I want to see them run the ball and get dirty and nasty up front.
That's what football's all about, right?
That's what it's all about.
Sonny Warren in now from Belfry County for Kentucky quarterback, and a fumbled snap. He kicks it, tries to pick it up, and does. And boy, I tell you what, Tennessee was a hair behind him, and that could have been bad for Kentucky.
You know, playing center and being in these conditions, you know, whether it's the quarterback mishandling the snap or the center mishandling and getting the ball to the quarterback, it's just certain things here in this game the way it has evolved. I'm telling you, it is a luxury to have a quarterback on the high school level who can take a snap under the center. And they just don't do it as much as they did, you know, say 10 years ago because of this spread offense and the pistol offense. So to have that, you just open yourself a little open more for more mishaps and more opportunities for the ball to get on the ground.
And Nagel replaces him and throws it across the middle. Touchdown, Kentucky, as Nagel came in for Warren after that last play at quarterback for Kentucky and connected with Scott Daniel out of Scott County, and now it's a 9-0 game for the Kentucky All-Stars. And here's a replay. Coach Fulmer, talk us through this one.
Well, he bought himself a little bit of time by moving out of the pocket and allowed the post route to get open. It was a little short, skinny post against man-to-man, and there was no safety. I'm not sure where the safety ended up wandering off to, but in that coverage, there should have been a safety, at least in that area. Nice play by Mr. Nagel.
Ryan Robards, and this one's fouled away into the dirt, and so two runners will remain on their respective bases. 0-1 to count here with one away at the bottom of the second. Elk Grove threatening again, and it was Nick Madrigal who was tagged out at the plate in the bottom of the first. Great throw by A.J. Sawyer in right field. And now Robards from the right side waiting for the pitch. This one sails off the corner, and the designated hitters batting .296 so far this season, really becoming someone that they're leaning on. Just a sophomore, but he's getting a lot of innings at just such a young age.
And another really good athlete, a three-sport athlete at Elk Grove.
And a fastball across the chest, but a bit high, and it goes to 2-1. Yeah, here's a kid that Coach Carlson said could play anything, and he just really might be baseball his best sport. Clearly, Elk Grove has a very good football program as well, but baseball has been great the last several years. Pitch on the outside, a 3-1 count. Now a hitter's situation here. What are you looking for if you're Robards?
Well, obviously you got to look for a fastball right now, a 3-1. We'll see, you know, if he can get it here from Mitchell, who's someone that's certainly not afraid to pitch in these spots, but he's got to get Robards here to get out of trouble because we could be having a low-scoring game, and any run's going to be crucial.
And Mitchell's 30th pitch of the afternoon is outside, and that walks Robards, and that means the bases are now loaded. And here comes the number 9 here, Austin Del Charo, but Del Charo is batting over 300 on the year. This is not a typical 9-hitter, and especially on a team that is a national power. This guy probably batting 2nd or 5th in most other teams.
He's someone that, you know, is really actually, it's a...
Also, Landon Gastelum, sorry, we skipped to this. So Landon Gastelum comes up, and so Gastelum, a catcher, play a little bit outfield, a pretty good arm, but in there for his defensive purposes. And now here Landon is at 283. Up next is Del Charo. Let's see if Gastelum can make something happen first with one out and bases loaded. And here's a slow roller to the short. On to second. Will they turn 2? And they get out of the inning. Elk Grove can't convert again. They leave a couple of runners stranded. They get 2 hits on the inning, but not able to convert there is Gastelum with a slow roller to the shortstop, and Maldonado turns 2, and Temecula Valley out of the inning. They're coming up at the top of the 3rd. Well, I have to admit I was expecting some runs. I don't think I was expecting 1-0 here. I mean, these teams can really swing the bat, but defensively, they have been good tonight. Each pitcher pitched pretty well, but they've had some help from behind, and here is a perfect example of that. This one hit to Mosley, makes it look easy to Madrigal, on to Carlson. Another double play by Elk Grove.
It's so smooth, the way Mosley can get the ball out of his glove, transition from glove hand to throwing hand all in one motion, and you see the same from Madrigal at short.
Here's Burke Mitchell. His first pitch is sent up the middle and on to first to record the out. And Ryan Robards is out 1 pitch, 1 ground out, and 1 away here, as we are now in the bottom of the 5th inning. And to the plate is Landon Gastelum, who hit into a double play his last time up. But how did they get here? Well, Elk Grove trailed 7-0 in the 4th in their opening game against Rio Americano in the Boris Classic. They scored 7 in the 5th and then added 1 in the 6th. And then 8 of the 9 players in that game had a hit. Then they go on to take down Granite Bay 9-4, which is a Sierra Foothill League power in the Sacramento region. And then they go on to beat Buchanan without Derek Hill, 3-1 semi-North Cal final there. Chris Martin, 1 run, 4 hits, a complete game. And then St. Francis Lancers of Mountain View there, the NorCal Championship, a 2-1 victory. Only 4 hits for Elk Grove, but that was enough to get it done. And Dustin Jack and Cody Barnes combined for a great outing there. And here they are taking on Temecula Valley for the overall championship at the Boris Baseball Classic Championship. And now here it's 3-0 to the count for Gastelum as Burke Mitchell working into the 5th inning here for Temecula Valley.
And hasn't had to work too hard to do it. 56 pitches thrown thus far.
And there's a strike 3-1, but just the run we talked about. Buchanan, St. Francis, both nationally ranked teams. Elk Grove did a nice job.
Yeah, and Coach Carlson talked about what a great atmosphere it was, particularly for that Buchanan win, a 3-1 victory. As you see Gastelum get hit with a pitch, and he'll head down to first base. But you've got to have great defense to win those type of low-scoring games, and they certainly have it. We've seen the smooth double play combination. Temecula Valley can say the same thing. Burke Mitchell here now operating for runner at first base. No, he's got a good defense behind him, particularly in that middle infield.
So nice work the count there by Gastelum, and just said, you know what? I think I'll take the 4th ball off the hip there. But here is the pitcher now, as Austin Del Charo. Del Charo struck out in his first appearance, and this one he sends to center field for a base hit. And on his way to second is Gastelum, and Elk Grove has 2 aboard for the top of their lineup. And here is Nick Madrigal.
That's what you want to see from your 8 and 9 guys, to get on base for the top of the order, especially when you're down 1-0 in this game. You're going to need some contributions from places you might not otherwise expect it. Del Charles, a really good 9 hitter. So you can see here, waiting on the pitch and taking it right back up the box, is someone that's they have a lot of confidence in, despite the fact that he's hitting 9th in the order. They feel like this is a guy that certainly helps them in the bottom part.
Nice lead for Gastelum at second. No one covering. Mitchell coming home with a curveball and able to get the strike. 0-1. We're in Stockton for this finale.
Madrigal's hit the ball well. He's got a single to center field. His last time up, he lined out to second.
And a little breaking pitch there, catches 0-2. So Madrigal swinging the bat well, but a beautiful day here in Stockton. We've had a pretty warm spring so far. Temperatures were in the 90s for most of the week, and then it seemed everybody knew we wanted a beautiful day here for this championship game, and it's a great day for baseball, no doubt about it. And an off-speed pitch fouled away. Staying alive is Nick Madrigal, but Mitchell had him fooled there. Madrigal lucky to stay away, but good pitch count so far for Mitchell as well, as he's only in the 60s right now, and at the 5th inning, I think he's contained himself pretty well, hasn't allowed Elk Grove to work the count as much as I think the Thundering Herd would like to.
Yeah, Thundering Herd have been a little bit more aggressive maybe than they want to be, but that's because Mitchell's around the plate.
2 runners on. This pitch way outside. I wanted to see if Madrigal would go and chase one. Also wanted to see if maybe Gastelum was running a little bit. This all began with 32 teams. We're at the final 2 here. Last year's winner, Mater Dei of Santa Ana, beat Pleasant Grove of the same city Elk Grove is from. Elk Grove high and inside, and the ball goes past. The runners will go. Everyone maybe thought it hit the knob of the bat. It did not, and so slow to react was Jewell, and quickly moving 90 feet. 2 Elk Grove base runners, and it's Gastelum and Del Charo. Now a 3rd and 2nd.
we're going to see a conference on the hill for Temecula Valley. Not sure what happened here with Jewell. Yeah, he's someone that's really reliable behind the plate. And the pitch, I don't know if, like you said, I don't know if he's expecting it to hit the batter Magical or not. But he's normally, you don't see that too often from a guy as talented behind the plate as Nick Jewell is.
And Madrigal batting .430. Now working a 2-2 count. Is this a situation, Pat, where you look, well, maybe we just automatically put Madrigal on with one out. We try to get that double play ball.
It's tough because Mosley's got pretty good speed, and he's someone that's not easy to turn that double play. I think I would pitch to him, even though Nick Madrigal's a very good hitter. It's just it seems to be a lot of pressure on the pitcher whenever you load the bases.
And this championship game, and it is fun to watch two great teams too. They just mechanically they're overall better. They just seem to do the fundamentals so much smoother than most teams, and we've seen how many double play balls turn, and a lot of them are professional type turns here. These are not just easy run-of-the-mill hopper to short on to second to first. I mean, these have really been some nice plays by both of these teams defensively, and Elk Grove with the go-ahead run at second. And this one's way off and looking to come home, but bounces quickly. Gastelum has to retreat to third, and Jewell played that perfectly, and he would have been dead in the water. There's no doubt about it. So even though there's a little bit of room behind the backstop there, it can bounce off the rubbers. It just isn't there, and so Elk Grove lucky. Now they see a full count situation for Madrigal.
Yeah, perfect bounce, and Gastelum did a good job of not coming home on that ball. You want to make sure you're going to score, especially with your team down 1-0 at this point. You can't afford to make any mistakes. You can see how quickly it comes back to Jewell at catcher, and like you said, probably would have been out of home plate.
I don't even think he would have to make a throw. He could have probably walked it up there. Short grass behind home plate as well, and because of a little bit of the drought situation, it appears
intentional walk.
Intentional walk. Okay, so they'll put Madrigal on first, and then they'll load the bases for Carlos Mosley with one away here. But because of a lot of the drought situation, a lot of these fields a little bit more brown earlier on they have, and even though it's college baseball field, University of Pacific, they've had to control their watering as well. You see it's a little bit more brown, so it makes a lot quicker as well. One away here. Bases loaded for Carlos Mosley, trying to get Elk Grove on the board. Takes the first pitch. It's a ball, 1-0. So even though Madrigal took that intentional walk, he got the pitch count up a little bit for Mitchell as well, who's now zeroing in on 70. Mosley watches again. He's going to make Mitchell pitch 1-1.
So here's a spot for Mosley, who we know is a better hitter than that 257 average indicates coming into this game. 0 for 2 in this contest, but a chance to give his team a lead if he can get a base hit to the outfield.
Here's the pitch, and this one's driven through the hole. A base hit will score a run, and it will stay there, and the ball game is now tied. Gastelum comes across, an RBI single for Carlos Mosley. Well, they intentionally walked Madrigal, and Mosley made him pay for it.
Great line shot in the hole between short and third to tie this game up. It's a guy that hit 337 a year ago. You knew that he has this talent in him, and really no chance for the shortstop, David Maldonado, to get to that ball. Just a perfectly lined single. And it's going to be tough to score from second base in a base hit against these outfielders of Temecula Valley. Jordan Gardner's got a very good arm. Drew Seelman in center, and we already saw A.J. Sawyer's canyon in the first inning.
And here's probably the worst possible scenario for Temecula Valley, who now has to face Derek Hill. The team's leading hitter is a guy who has some power as well. 6 triples on the season, so he can really rake a little bit, and now the bases still remain loaded. That's the other problem, as you have Mosley on first, Madrigal, who's intentionally walked at second, and Del Charo, who had a base hit up the middle at third. Gastelum scored after being hit by a pitch. Here steps in Hill, one away here. Tied at 1 here in the championship game of the Boris Baseball Classic in Stockton.
We saw a confrontation on the base pass between Mitchell and Hill, if you will call it that. Now we get to see him at the plate against one another.
Jewell working on the outside. Off-speed pitch. Hill taking all the way, 0-1. And it's interesting to see Mitchell go from about 82 to about 63. A very big difference from that off-speed pitch. He's allowed 6 hits so far. The walks have gotten him in trouble this inning. as he's put 2 on board.
And there's nowhere to put a talent like Hill with the bases loaded. And a guy that's been hitless just 1 game all season has Hill. He's 0 for 1 with a walk thus far this afternoon.
And Hill waits for it, but not able to put some bat on the ball, and it's a 1-2. So a nice pitch by Mitchell to get Hill a little bit confused, and still bases loaded here. And Hill had some power, but did have some leg issues this year. They've been a little concerned about him. And there's a fastball, catches the corner, strike 3 looking. A great pitch by Mitchell. Gets Hill to go down, and here's the sophomore, Dylan Carlson.
Score 1 for Mitchell. Impressive sequence there for the pitcher as he really caught Hill off guard. You mentioned the fastball over the outside corner, kind of tailed back in over that outside corner, and Hill certainly was not expecting it.
Hill saw the movement, maybe thought it was sailing the other way. Came right back, cut inside the plate, and now it's 2 away, bases loaded. And Temecula Valley has an opportunity to get out of the inning, allowing just 1 run. A big threat here, though, is Carlson. Though he's just a sophomore, has some big-time power as well. 6'2", 195 pounds. Watches that one at the knee. So all of a sudden, it seems Elk Grove has gone a little bit silent with the bat, maybe taking a little bit more pitches here. Not as aggressive as they were early on. 1-1 the count. Carlson, this one out to right field. Will it drop in for a base hit? It does. An RBI single. They'll send another runner. Jewell won't be able to make a tag. The runner is safe, and Madrigal makes it the 3rd run for Elk Grove of the inning, and they take a 2-run advantage.
Great job by Carlson to line that base hit, and also got to give a little credit to third base coach Justin Parnell for sending home Mosley there, sending home Madrigal for that 2nd run on that play, running against the great arm of AJ Sawyer. You could see Sawyer's throw was on a line, but it was up the line, and that allowed Madrigal to score that 3rd run.
So Brooks Day now has an opportunity to extend this lead for Elk Grove, who has put up 3 runs here in the bottom of the 5th, and we may have a pitching change here. Temecula Valley, a lot of credit, though, as it has been a very well-pitched game for Mitchell here. Burke Mitchell got Hill. You figured you're looking at a pretty good situation here. You've got a sophomore coming up, but Dylan Carlson makes him pay, just sits on the pitch he wants it, and sends it over to right field.
Someone that has been such a reliable run producer for them this year.
Kentucky looking for its 10th win of the season. Vanderbilt looking for its 4th. As you can tell by the uniforms, it's Think Pink Day to help raise awareness for the fight against breast cancer for the Vanderbilt Commodores on our left and the Kentucky Wildcats on our right as they get set to go.
Well, and as you mentioned, head coach John Lipsitz said they made the change on the bus on the way over here to the game. She usually plays out wide in that attacking left side forward spot. They switched her over into the middle just before arriving here at the VU soccer complex because they wanted to get her into a more dangerous position, push her up a little bit more on the field, make her be that playmaker and the finisher. And being in that center forward spot forces her to do that. And we see it early.
It's amazing what people do with the technology and everything now. Because literally, they had that 3-1 victory at Mississippi State on Friday night, and then riding the bus over yesterday, they had already cut up the tape. And John Lipsitz said he sat down with Swift on the bus and said, hey, you know, here's what we need you to do more of, and here's how we're going to try to get it done.
Yeah, and you know what I thought was great? I had a chance to speak with head coach John Lipsitz last night for a little while after they arrived here to Nashville, and he told me that Zoe Swift, his freshman, actually asked to be in the film room after their team dinner last night because she wanted to go over a little bit more video and figure things out. She does her homework, not only in class, but obviously on the soccer field here, and she's just grown tremendously throughout her freshman year.
Landis with the center. And Kentucky has pushed the attack here in the opening moments in Nashville.
But not when they win the ball.
Kentucky once again trying to center, and that one is centered nicely. And they can't clear. And that's a second goal for the Wildcats.
Wow. And it's been Kentucky this entire first portion of the first half. They put the pressure on Vanderbilt early. They've kept it on and not even let them out of their midfield play here. But check it out. A great job going down our near side flank here. A good cross in, and then that's all it takes sometimes is a little touch into the box. She put it in the side pocket there, and the Wildcats up 2-0. You can see Kentucky, though, trying to stick with that, keeping the pressure on their defensive line, holding kind of a high line at midfield here.
And that ball's in the box. Boy, what a pretty turn. Caitlin Landis, it didn't look like she was going to be able to get a lot on that shot. She was pretty well covered, but that one had a chance.
Yeah, it did have a chance. And Kat Landis, she loves physical play. She's great at posting up. Very, very strong on the ball, and that's exactly what she did there, but it was a good turn and quick to get that shot off. Again, we're seeing the pressure, the high pressure from Kentucky. Vanderbilt doing a good job of handling it, though, and finding each other.
I just like what Simone Charlie does in the middle of the field an awful lot. You can have all kinds of people up in the front and everything, but unless you've got somebody that can not only control it and push it, you can't ever get it to the front.
Okay, good, Grace, unlucky.
Yeah, she's been a force in the midfield.
Good, Lauren.
She's physical, she's strong on the ball, and she doesn't give up. I like that a lot about Charlie, and she's just a freshman. Doesn't play like it, though.
Gilliland on a run.
Good step by the Commodores defense.
Boy, nice play in the back end. Substitution for Kentucky. Aaron Myers. Check that. Caitlin Miller. See Stuart Pope come out.
Number 34, Claire Anderson.
And we see number 24, Brittany Thomas, come out of the Vanderbilt lineup. 34, Claire Anderson, freshman from Lakeside High in Seattle, Washington, checks in.
Great job by Shayna Williams to stick with it and then find Sasha Gray down this near side flank. And it was a good job by them of slowing it down, and a great shot off from Shayna Williams. That's what I'm talking about, some shots from distance, but this time she kept it on the ground, put it on frame, and she is making Kayla King work back there.
Boy, that is a nice ball.
Oh, yeah.
And King just had to lay out.
She put some power behind it, and when you have weather like this, that's exactly what you have to do, because you never know how much it's going to skip around back there. I'll take that every time.
Boy, and that's a dangerous ball. Nice play by Morris as she came out and stopped what looked like it could be a certain goal.
Oh, great job by Shannon Morse. She's done a very good job of knowing where she's at in her box. I mentioned Friday night, she came up with a couple huge saves. That one right there, a very good job by Morse in goal.
Jade Klump, number 10 there in the center of your screen, just checked in. 5'8" freshman from Pacific, Missouri via Visitation Academy. John Lipsitz able to take a look at some other players in SEC action with this 2-goal lead. Whistle will go against Kumar of Kentucky.
Relax. Simone, this goes off your head, Simone. Relax. Simone! Come a little higher. Jenna. Right off of Simone's head. Sasha, same thing. Shayna, that's good. Don't squeeze too tight.
Here, Derek Green setting the offense off this kick.
Well, and I know the one thing coming into this match, coming into weekend play, actually, Derek Green said he needed to see his Vanderbilt Commodores do a better job of winning 50-50 balls. He wants to see them get the first touch on it. I think they could still do a little bit better job of that in this game, but the one thing that they have done well is if they're not winning the first ball, they're winning the second ball. And it's enabled them to get the possession and start going forward with it. But anytime you have a free kick opportunity like that, you want to take advantage.
Boy, Gilliland had a good look. She was outside. Commodore defender turned around and deflected off of her back. Erin Gilliland, first team All-SEC a year ago, 2010, a parade All-American.
She's been a force for them. She's played on the under-20 national team. She's not scoring as many goals this year because she's finding herself marked definitely a little bit more. But she's okay with coming up with that assist. She's learned to find another way to get her teammates involved. And that's actually made her a much more well-rounded, better player this season. Head coach John Lipsitz said that she's grown a lot, and we saw her last year and how good she was, and we mentioned a national team player, but he said this year, because she's been a little bit marked, it's forced her to kind of develop a little bit more and play that supporting role. She's been good at it.
Vanderbilt plays it back. Wow. Klump was right there. Commodores trying to clear and not having a lot of luck.
And this is where you kind of start to see the fatigue setting in late in the first half on a Sunday afternoon. Defensively, though, you want to stay organized and very disciplined because especially for Vanderbilt in the situation, they do not want to give up another goal and go into the locker room 3-0.
That'll be a corner for Kentucky. But first, another substitution for the Wildcats. There you see number 5, Kennedy Collier. 5'6" sophomore from Boyle County High School in Danville, Kentucky. Checking in for Kat Landis. And Collier immediately goes right to the mouth of the goal. Nice center. Big time collision out in front of the net.
Oh, good job by Kentucky of continuing to put that ball back into the box, but credit the Commodores defense.
I tell you, as you take a look at Jade Klump, number 10 for Kentucky, she gives the Wildcats an entirely different look. You know, they're a team that's got an awful lot of speed, and she's far and away the most physical player, I think, on this Kentucky team.
Yeah, she is. But as you look at this, a good job by Morse to come off of her line, punch that ball out. There were a lot of blue jerseys in that box. She did a good job in her defense right there with her. Able to finally clear it back out after it was put back in a second time.
And I tell you that, once you get a ball in the air, Gilliland is going to find a way to get a part of her body on it.
Yeah, and you saw her very close to the ball, so it was a great job by Morsha coming and just doing whatever she could to get a fist on it and punch it out. And you mentioned the wind. We've got so much wind here today. It's very strong. It's messing with the ball when you get it up in the air, which makes it even that much more important to have a clean clear out of the box.
You saw a moment ago number 27, Chloe Watson, 5'6" freshman from Rancho Cucamonga, California, getting her first action.
Well, and Chloe is someone who came off foot surgery. She actually was they were thinking she was going to come into the season and play center back right away, but she had a foot surgery that was done. They thought she'd be able to get back in quicker. Instead, it took almost as long as an ACL recovery. So she is just now finally getting match fit and able to get in some good minutes here for Kentucky.
And there you saw Erin Gilliland continuing to direct things for Kentucky. Crone with the corner. That wasn't her best.
Well, and she's sending it into the wind. So I understand that she doesn't want to put it too far. She doesn't want to get too much flight underneath it to have the wind be able to mess with it, but you need a little more than that. As we mentioned, Kentucky yet to score this season off of a set piece, including corner kicks, and I know that's something that they really wanted to be able to accomplish here today. And they've had their chances.
That was the 5th corner of the afternoon for the Wildcats. As we approach the final 30 seconds of the first half. The biggest action coming in the first 4 minutes. And I know that this goalkeeping situation has been a point of concern for Derek Green, but despite the fact his team has given up the 2 goals, Morrish has been more than solid today.
She has.
But it was Kentucky striking quickly. The Wildcats with 2 early goals. They come on the road and they strike not once, but twice in the first 4 minutes of the first half, and they lead it by a count of 2-0. Coming back with all of our halftime activities, recap what happened in this first 45 minutes to play, and much more when we return to Nashville.
Back at Schuart Stadium here on the campus of Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. We're getting set for Major League Lacrosse action as the Ohio Machine on the road taking on the New York Lizards. An absolutely beautiful night here on Long Island for this matchup. Ohio coming in 2-11 on the season, facing a New York team 3-10 on the year, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. So the fans anticipating a great matchup. As you take a look at the head coaches for Ohio, Bear Davis took over for Ted Garber midway through the season. Davis coming off his first career victory against Boston last week. 1-4 in his first year in Major League Lacrosse for the Ohio Machine. For the New York Lizards, Joe Spallina, last year's Coach of the Year, coming in his 2nd season guiding this Lizards team. 11-6 team, all-time record here in Major League Lacrosse. Ohio, a team 2-11 on the season and coming off a very critical win over the Boston Cannons, thanks in part to that guy, Scott Rogers, a career-high 22 saves, allowing only 12 goals in that victory. Hailing out of Notre Dame, 1-2 on the season with a save percentage of 51. On the other side, the 2-time goalie of the year out of Penn State, Drew Adams, 3-9 on the year, with a goals against average of 12.40, save percentage of just under 54%. Greg Gurenlian and Eric O'Brien at the face-off X, and quickly Gurenlian starting off the offensive tone here for New York. It's not been the type of season New York envisioned coming into this year, 3-10. Last win coming back on June 13th, Steve, against Hamilton.
Yeah, and I think neither team has really had the year that they wanted to. Again, they're young teams. They're very talented. It's going to take some time for them to adjust to the MLL level. But I think with next year's draft and maybe make some moves in the offseason, both these teams could be in the playoffs next year.
David Earl in action, based out of Notre Dame for this Lizards team. Outside to Stephen Pizer, who can't handle it. And this Ohio defense coming up with a huge ground ball pickup by Kyle Hartzell, and that was key for Boston last week, Steve, was the play of this defense from Ohio, as Hartzell trying a off-angle two-point shot. Ohio in their road white, while New York showcasing the fancy neon jersey here tonight in the Week 14 season finale for both these teams, with bragging rights on the line, with both teams not heading to the postseason in Philadelphia.
Ohio going to an invert set here, taking Unterstein the short stick behind, trying to take advantage of that short stick matchup from behind the goal.
Marcus Holman, youngest player on this Ohio team, 22 years old. Shot, bounce pass low as Adams quickly scoops it up on the first offensive attempt for Ohio.
And when you let them take shots like that, Drew Adams can make those saves all day. Low angle, on the run, moving away from the net. If you're the Lizards defense, you got to be happy with that first set.
Hometown guy Jojo Marasco taking a stick to the head. No call as play continues. As Jeff Tundo went to nearby Stony Brook in action. Rookie campaign here for the Lizards.
Lizards using the same invert set. Jojo Marasco is very used to that. He's played attack at the college level. Him and Pinnell working behind together, trying to take advantage of those short sticks.
Rob Pinnell having a breakout rookie campaign. Shot to the back of the cage, and striking first is New York. Stephen Mock coming up with the strike.
And that's just a connection that they're used to. Both Cornell players play a lot with each other. Again, Pinnell's got the short stick. That puts Ohio in a bad position. A lot of pressure, forces them to slide. And Stephen Mock does a good job of just stepping to that passing lane, catching it right-handed, and finishing it past the goalie, Scott Rogers.
8th goal of the season for the rookie out of Cornell. And a 1-0 lead to start things off for New York. As O'Brien and Gorenlian back at the X, as Gorenlian's had one stellar campaign at the faceoff. 64% faceoff percentage. That's the best in Major League Lacrosse. And there's a big reason why he is nicknamed the Beast. Tommy Palasek one-on-one with Greg Bice. Loses possession and scooped up by Rogers. And last week, this Ohio defense was able to shut down the Cannons led by Paul Rabel. And one of the big factors was Rogers. He has a huge upper body physique that really gives opposing teams a challenge.
Yeah, and he has the ability, when he gets hot, you know, Scott's one of the best goalies in the league.
Bice to his right, shot that goes low off the stick of Logan Shush, and stays with Ohio. Very young team is this Ohio franchise, 25 years old, but they have a number of players returning, 17. Jace Carrero on the right wing now with possession for the Machine. Chaz Woodson tries to fire up a two-point shot that misses.
And they're using Chaz out of the box, up at the midfield. Look for him to get the pole matchup, but sometimes he will get the short stick, and that's a good matchup if you're Ohio.
Woodson did not play last week versus Boston. As now Joe Cummings, angled shot that bounces past the cage to the left and out of bounds. Just about 5 minutes in, shot on to Adams' save. We take a look at the keys to the game, Steve, for this Ohio Machine team.
Yeah, you got to contain Rob Pinnell. He's the quarterback. He's the guy that's going to lead this offense. You got to take him out of the game. He's a huge threat for the New York Lizards, and you know Ohio's really got a key on him and take him out of it.
As Rogers comes up with his second save here of the first quarter, just over 5 minutes in, with New York on top 1-0. Marshall Burkhart giving it off to Steele Stanwyk. Amazing numbers in his second year, 10 goals, 20 assists for Stanwyk. Shot to the back and comes up with the score to tie this one up at 1 apiece to Steele Stanwyk.
And Steele just does a nice job of just beating his man there one-on-one, coming underneath, getting to his left hand. We take a look here against Karolinus. Again, he steps underneath there and comes, and Drew Adams, really nothing he can do there. It's a tough angle, but again, one-on-one like that with Steele Stanwyck, he's going to score that almost every time.
All-star selection this season for Ohio, 11th goal of the season for Stanwyck. Getting set for the second half between the Ohio Machine and the New York Lizards. Let's head down to the field and welcome in the head coach for the Lizards, Joe Spallina. Coach, down by 3, final game of the season. What was the message to your players?
Yeah, we just got to be better. I think we're, we're rushing things and playing scattered on offense. I think there are things there. I think guys are getting a little over the top and trying to force things. And for a team right now offensively that's struggling like we are, we got to just keep it simple. Hit singles, find the open man, move the ball. Because when we have done that, we've gotten awesome looks. So I think that's the biggest thing. Defensively, we got to do a better job defending the invert, something we expected them to do. But we have to be better there. We're sliding with a lot of sticks. Got to slide more body and play a better brand of defensive style.
Hey, Coach, you guys are dominating the possession because of Greg Grenley at the face-off X. You kind of touched upon it already, but what's the one thing you guys need to do offensively to get some more goals on the scoreboard?
I think we got to execute. I think we got to get more guys involved. For a while there, we were one and done, a lot of ISO stuff, so we need to get everybody involved, keep the ball hot, and run through our sets. Which obviously is going to encourage ball distribution, guys getting involved. So this is big here. We got 26 seconds left. He's won a lot of faceoffs, but this could be the biggest one of the game as we're up 2 men. If we can get a quick possession here, we go man up for 2 guys, and hopefully we can get one here and get rolling here.
Appreciate the time, Coach.
You got it, gents.
All right, so you hear from the words of the head coach for the New York Lizards, Joe Spallina, trying to work out the kinks in this second half.